Welcome back, NFL fans. It's John Kuzma from the Across the Middle Show. We're going to talk about all the latest NFL news and action in this latest podcast. We're going to start with the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens are having a terrific offseason. You look at what they've done. They go out and get Odell Beckham Jr., then they draft Zay Flowers in the first round, the electric wide receiver out of Boston College. I think the Ravens really have an offensive group that's going to be able to open things up for Lamar Jackson, move the chains when they need it on, third and long. They're also going to be able to score more touchdowns and ultimately put more points on the board. So you have to be excited at what the Ravens have been able to do just because they've been one of the big winners in this offseason. To be able to add Odell Beckham Jr., Zay Flowers to Mark Andrews, Rashad Bateman, the rest of the guys they have there, that's going to be huge for the Ravens because it's always been Lamar Jackson carrying all the weight for this team on the offensive side of the ball. Now he's finally got the playmakers to, step up when he needs them to be great. You look at what Joe Burrow has with the Cincinnati Bengals, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. Those guys make Joe Burrow look a lot better. Not saying Joe Burrow isn't a great player. We all know he is. Won the national championship at LSU. Took the Bengals to a Super Bowl early on in his career. But it helps having that, that supporting cast around him, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Boyd, that really help him take his game to the next level. Well, Lamar Jackson finally has his supporting cast that can help him do the same thing. So I think that's going to be very big for the Ravens. I think they're going to be more electric than we've seen them in a very long time. I think Lamar Jackson might resemble the way he looked when he was an MVP winner earlier in his career. So to me, the Ravens are in great shape right now. And remember what the problem was last year. Lamar Jackson's playing at a very high level, but it's, Rashad Bateman and Duvernay that go down, which took too much of the Ravens' firepower away. Well, I don't think Lamar Jackson's going to have that problem anymore. I think Odell Beckham Jr. alone gives this team something that they've been missing. You add Zay Flowers to the mix too. Suddenly there's weapons all over the field. Lamar Jackson doesn't have to carry all the weight that he did in the past. He doesn't have to put the team on his shoulders all by himself now. Odell Beckham Jr. can step up. Mark Andrews can step up. Zay Flowers, I think, is going to end up being a really good pick for the Ravens just because of what he can do in so many different phases of the game just because he's so quick. He's going to get separation. He's going to get open on slants and quick outs. And then after the catch, he's going to make people miss and, create some of those big plays after the catch and the yards after catch aspect of the game. I really like the direction that the team's heading. I think Lamar Jackson's heading for a huge season. I think he knows it. Then you look at the contract situation with Lamar Jackson. It took 2 years. It almost felt like the Ravens were going to let him walk. But ultimately, the Ravens get the deal done. After 2 long years, the negotiations finally pans out in the Ravens' favor. Lamar Jackson will be staying with the team. I think they got the deal done on draft night. Lamar Jackson became the highest paid player in the league. It was huge for him. He stuck to his guns. Then ultimately, he got the deal that he wanted. And for Lamar Jackson, a guy that won MVP, it was well-deserved. I think everybody that's a Ravens fan is very happy with how things turned out. Everybody was a little panicked there for a minute. Then again, sometimes in the National Football League, things take a little bit of time. This one took longer than normal. I think we can all agree with that. However, it was the right move for the Ravens to make sure that Lamar Jackson doesn't go anywhere. They'll keep their franchise quarterback. He's going to be in a Ravens uniform for the foreseeable future. I can't express enough how big that is for the Ravens because now this team is climbing the AFC rankings. They just have so many weapons. I like that J.K. Dobbins was, really starting to rip off some big runs this past year. He looks healthy again. He even said that he's still getting his speed back because, he's battling back from the injury. It takes time. But he's starting to look like that player that we saw at Ohio State that just was unstoppable. And when you have Lamar Jackson, J.K. Dobbins in the same backfield, that two-headed dragon on, those zone read plays where you either ride it out with J.K. Dobbins and hand it off to the running back, or Lamar Jackson pulls it because he sees that defensive end crashing in to stop the run, then what's going to happen? Lamar Jackson's going to take it around that edge for a big gain every single time. I think we can all agree with that. That's something he's done throughout his entire career. The zone read for the Ravens is going to be a big-time weapon. It's going to be tough to stop for these teams just because you have two dynamic athletes, carrying out that zone read run fake action. Is it a run fake or a run handoff to the running back, or is Lamar Jackson going to pull it and keep that thing himself? And like I said, we all know how deadly Lamar Jackson is when he has the football in his hands. When he tucks it and runs, all bets are off. The defense is holding their breath. They're trying to do anything they can to just get some pads on him and give him a hit. A lot of times they get olayed. It's like the bullfighter pulling the red rug out from the bull. The bull just kind of goes for an air ball and misses. That's what happens to these defenders when they try to hit Lamar Jackson. Basically, to sum it up, they whiff a lot. It's not easy to get a hit on Lamar Jackson just because not only is he fast, he's also elusive. He can juke. He can spin. The guy is truly incredible. The highest paid player in the league. Well deserved for Lamar Jackson because of everything he's been able to do up until this point. The other story we have, the Minnesota Vikings have released Dalvin Cook. Now, the Vikings did this to save, I think, like $9 million in cap space. It's a move that definitely hurts the Vikings just because Dalvin Cook is such an explosive player. Coming out of Florida State, he was the same way. Just a guy that has exceptional bursts, a big-time playmaker, a guy that, is a threat to go the distance every single time he touches the football. Well, now he's on the open market. All signs point to the Dolphins being the team that Dalvin Cook lands with. I know they have Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson. Those guys aren't on Dalvin Cook's level. They're not. They're good players, but Dalvin Cook is a great player. He's from the Miami area. He wants to go back home to Miami to play for the Dolphins. It's a match made in heaven. The Dolphins have this offense with Mike McDonald that has a lot of opportunities for the players that play within that system just because he's so good at creating plays and the way he designs things. He got a lot of his designs from Kyle Shanahan when he was working with the San Francisco 49ers. They do a great job designing these running plays. They take advantage of leverage. They know how to space the field. When these running backs, get the ball, it's set up perfectly for them to have success, whether it's with the blocking, whether the linemen are sliding over and blocking the defensive lineman to the left or the right, or whether the guards are pulling on like a J block where both guards pull and get out in front of the running back and lead the way. Believe me when I say this, there's going to be opportunities there for Dalvin Cook if he does sign with the Dolphins. That's where he wants to go. It would be huge for him. It would be huge for the Dolphins. It's really what the Dolphins need to keep getting better. Remember last year they go out, they get Tyreek Hill. It ends up being a huge acquisition for them. Tyreek Hill absolutely dominates. The combination of Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle turn all these games into a track meet. Well, you also get the other track star in the backfield in Dalvin Cook. Look at how much team speed the Dolphins would have. I mean, you got burners all over the field that are going to just start ripping off big plays. I think that's going to help Tua Tagovailoa even more. It's what the Dolphins need to just keep getting better, keep progressing, keep going in the right direction like we've seen them do over the past year. I think the Dalvin Cook signing would make all the sense in the world for the Miami Dolphins. I think it's the best thing they can do at the running back position. It's also a move that would make them a better team than they were a year ago. So Miami has to do whatever they can to sign Dalvin Cook, which I don't think should be too hard for the Dolphins because it does feel like Dalvin Cook wants to be a Dolphin as well. So it's really about going out there, making a good offer. Then the chances of Dalvin Cook signing with the Dolphins are very high. I think that's what we're going to see play out here in the future. That's all I got for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. I'm John Kuzma from the Across the Middle Show. Thank you guys so much for listening. I'm signing off.